All right. I'm excited to be here with my new friend, Brianna DeMayo. So, Brianna,
Hey.
hey, let me give you a quick intro. So, Brianna is a powerhouse in artist development and marketing, equipping artists with the tools and strategies to help them build thriving, sustainable careers. As the founder of Taste Creators, she works hands-on with artists and their teams, helping them transform passion into profit through branding, marketing, and community building. And she helps artists do this in a way where they actually own the fan data that they're building to actually have a better connection with those fans. And so excited to have her on the podcast today to talk a little bit about right now, what are some of the best ways that you as an artist can build a real relationship with your fans and to take your community off of social media and onto platforms that you can actually have better communication with them. So, Brianna, thank you for taking the time to be on the podcast today.
Thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely. So to kick things off, maybe we can start with just a quick introduction in terms of, I would love to hear your story and how you started Taste Creators and we found our way here today.
Oh man, how much time do we have? Well, I mean, I'm in my 30s now, my late 30s. I'm almost 40. And I grew up in music. So my dad played the keys, the drums. He was a singer-songwriter. He knew a lot of like the older groups that were coming out of Philly and like the Delphonics and things, if you're familiar. And my aunt owned a dance studio that my mom taught at. So like I couldn't escape entertainment since I was a little girl. You know, I grew up in studios and singing and dancing. And then I formed a little singing group. It was me and my nephew and a few of our friends. And this was like, I was like, I don't know, 13, 14. And my dad taught us how to harmonize. So imagine like the Jackson 4, you know? And we were able to perform. This is before social media, so everything was like grassroots, you know? And I'm not sure if you're familiar with like the Apollo Theater in New York, like Showtime at the Apollo, Amateur Night at the Apollo, but we won that 3 times in a row. And I was 14, wow. And it was like the wildest, coolest experience ever. And by the time I graduated high school, we were just getting presented with weird contracts, right? And from managers, from labels, I don't know, I was young. But my mom was like, I'm not signing these. I'm not getting you into this stuff. So at that point, as cheesy as it sounds, it's like music broke my heart, right? I was like, I'm cool. I'm not doing this anymore. I started going to college for a bit. And then I got my real estate license, and I started working in real estate. And then in my early 20s, it's like once music is in you, it never leaves, right? My family and friends were still making music. I would still go to shows and stuff. And then the business side piqued my interest because I'm like, wait, you guys are all going to get screwed like I almost did because you don't know the business. Like you're great performers, great musicians, but you don't know the business. So that like, I used to spend my days that really motivated me, right? To really learn the business. And, like Facebook was a thing. TikTok was a thing. Well, not TikTok, Twitter was a thing. Then, social media started actually being, very popular. And, I would spend my days on my real estate job, like researching the music business. And, I would like simplify whatever information I was taking in and I would share it. I would tweet it. And then I was like, man, this is really like, it's coming pretty naturally to me. I kind of enjoy this, just as much as I was enjoying real estate at the time. And, everything happened really organically from there. It was like, at first I just was like, hey, let me find some really dope artists around me that I can try to help however I can. And then that led to me doing like a monthly show, networking mixer in Philly, called Philly Sound Sessions. And we did that for like, I don't know, 3 years. It was really, really awesome. And that built my network a lot in the city. And then Taste Creators came about a few years after that. And, it started off as a music blog, during like the blog era, right? When everybody was like, that's where we found music. Everybody wanted to be on blogs. And, I was upset because I'm like, I'm finding all this amazing indie music and you guys don't want to post about it because it's not Drake, So, and I was successful in getting some of those artists on those big outlets, but I started Taste Creators as a music blog literally because I was coming across so much really awesome music. And I just wanted to have a platform to be able to share this amazing music that I was coming across that just wasn't really popular yet. And I had another company at the time. I had started a brand called Exclusive Public, and that's where I was doing like some PR, branding, consulting, coaching with artists. But it got to be too much, like trying to build two brands. So I just like merged everything together, ran with Taste Creators, and I'm sure I'm leaving stuff out. But it happened very naturally. And but one thing that I did notice is that a lot of artists were coming to me for the wrong things, right? Like they would come to me and they would want to get press and all these big things. But I'm like, wait, you don't have a bio, or you don't know how to market yourself. You don't know what to post tomorrow. So it's like, what's the story? We have to build this brand. We have to build this audience. And that led me more down the artist development path. I was always kind of coaching and developing artists, but I'm like, wow, there's a real need for this. And when I was little, we used to have to like run around football fields singing and then like work out and then like go to our basement setup and rehearse our live show for hours. So we had crazy artist development, like training, performance coaching. And I'm like, wow, it really happened naturally. I started just giving artists the things that they actually needed, and it's a struggle at times because they're like, I just want all this big, cool stuff. And it's like, but it's the little things, it's the foundational things that will get you there. But yeah, long story short, I guess.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. That last part you just shared, totally can relate with, around like often things that we think that we want or the things that we think that, would be good for us are actually like not, it's kind of like the eat your broccoli kind of thing. It's like,
yeah.
but, one of my mentors, he has this phrase, sell them what they want, but give them what they need. And is something that I feel like is a helpful frame for what you're describing right now. Cause it's true.
Because I often say, because I often say like, hey, we're actually selling artists what they need, not what they want. But I actually frame it as it's like, this is what you need. It's not, Yeah. Maybe I should try that.
well, and I'm not, I didn't mean to frame it like you should change. I think what you're describing right now is perfect because this is sort of like by communicating with people. This is the reason we have the podcast, so people can learn what's actually important and what they actually need versus what the myths are, what they think that are important that actually aren't as important.
Yeah.
So with along that line of thinking, I would love to hear your perspective on what are some of those things that artists feel like are important or they feel like they need, like often when they come to you, what are some of those biggest mistakes? And what is like the equivalent of the broccoli that's like, hey, look, like this is actually like, this is going to make you feel awesome. If you just like, it might not be the thing that you think you need, but just trust me, like this is going to make you feel awesome. What are some of those things that you found in your experience?
Yeah, I think, a lot of artists come to me and they're like, I want to get on these big platforms, right? The on the radars and, just the big platforms. They think that they need that to grow an audience. And one thing that I like to preach is like, you are enough, the artists, you are the platform. And I want artists to understand that because while these other platforms are amazing, you don't need that to start, right? You need to start building your own platform by having awesome music, branding yourself properly, make sure that when people are searching for you, it makes a great first impression. Make sure that your profile photo is a picture of you and we can actually see your face and, make sure that your at name, your handles, like are your artist name, stuff like that. Making sure that you are posting consistently about your music and yourself, showing up consistently for your audience, making it a point to truly connect with the people that are engaging with you. I think those things matter first, right? Because I think with artists, it's like now you want to get some organic traction before you start paying for things, right? Um, I manage an artist right now. His name is Dario Amont, and it's been why the growth has just been amazing, right, over the last 4 months, and it's because he's so consistent, right? And I mean, the music is great. He looks great. So of course that all of those things
It
play a
doesn't hurt.
factor in it. Yeah, it doesn't hurt at all. Um, but he went from like 2,000 followers to 48,000 followers,
Wow.
and like less than 10,000 monthly listeners to, I think he was at 65,000 monthly listeners. I think he's in the 40,000s right now. But we're getting ready to drop some new music. But
Awesome.
it wasn't paid for, right? It's like a couple of his videos hit over 1 million views organically. No ad money, no playlisting, no influencers, none of that, you know? Now we're starting to run ads on the things that did the best, and do interviews and set up shows and all of that stuff. But to build the foundation that he has and actually start to build a real fan base, because now there's like so many people commenting anytime he posts. We're doing his second headlining show. It's coming up in May. He did a brand deal with L'Oreal back in February. And all of this stemmed from his content and his music. And and now we have multiple deals on the table. So it's like, build it and they will come. So I think that's the biggest thing. Like, the artists need to understand that they are the platform.
Mm. Super helpful. Yeah, you know what that reminded me of is one of my favorite analogies is, and it sounds like this is exactly what you're saying, is that, before you quote unquote make it rain, like if in this example, like you getting exposure, getting on a platform, it's like it starts to rain. There's all these fans like discovering you. If you're not prepared for that, it's like you can kind of like hold out your hands and the rain kind of like passes through and goes into the ground. But what you're saying is, you know what, actually, you should focus on building a rain catcher, building something, building a platform or building a foundation so that when it does rain, you're actually prepared for it and you can actually
Yeah.
capture rain as it's falling down.
Well, think about it, right? There's a few things like, well, number one, you want to go to these platforms with a song that has like proof of concept, right?
Mm.
You don't want to do the wrong song on a huge platform and now you just wasted that platform. Like you know,
Mm.
so it's better to test out the records and have something that is getting a little bit of traction. So that way now, okay, if I just expose this song to a bigger audience, people are going to love it because it's already organically, people love it. So that's one thing. Another thing is, like, I've had artists hit me up wanting to get on these big platforms, and I go on their Instagram and they have 2 posts. So it's like, so if we got you on this platform tomorrow and people actually love it, you're going to have anything else to dig into on your page. So you're only going to half build the relationship, right?
Mm.
Like, you want to get on these platforms, people can now follow you and have a whole world to dig into, right?
Mm.
They can scroll for an hour and watch your other videos, and whether it's music, behind the scenes, whatever. So it's got to be the right time.
Mm. Awesome. Yeah. So it sounds like, like even if you do have like a big hit or you get on a platform and it starts to rain, like, yeah, if you're just kind of holding out your hands, you have these two like little tiny, you have 2 posts on your page, these 2 little tiny rain catchers. It's like, they're going to fill up kind of fast. And now it just like
Yeah.
spills over and it's like, now it's just, again, like wasted. Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. One thing I'd love to hear your perspective on is around um, owning the platform and kind of owning the audience in the form of like maybe an email list or like a contact list versus something like social media, where it's like they have a rain catcher, but you don't really own the rain catcher and it could die, like MySpace.
Yeah.
So I'm curious what your perspective is on artists when it comes to like owning their own platform and maybe some good strategies that they can put into practice so that they can have more independence and not rely as much on those social media platforms.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, I think the easiest way to put it is, I mean, you probably have heard of the 1,000 fan rule, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where if you can just get 1,000 people to, spend $50 on a hoodie, piece of merch, and then like, well, that's a lot of money right there. It's
Yeah,
$50,000, right?
$50,000. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Minus, let's say $20,000 for the cost of the hoodie, and the design. That's still $30,000, right? And that's just off of one hoodie. So imagine if they bought a hoodie, a t-shirt, and a ticket to a show. So that's a lot of money. That's more than a lot of people are making at their full-time jobs. So you really have to, as an artist, that's what you need to focus on. Having 1 million followers is one thing, but like if you can't reach them or if they're not going to pay you for anything, then what is the point?
Mm-hmm.
So I like for artists to use social media as a net, like cast a wide net. But when you notice that these people are really engaging with you, you should have contact info, right? When someone gives you their email or their phone number, they're literally giving you permission to contact them. They're saying, I want you to market to me. I want to hear from you, right? So I like to create like a fan funnel, for instance. So it's like, you don't want to ask a stranger for an email, but someone that's been following you for a little while and they're always commenting on your posts, you can totally get their email address. And there's different ways to do it. Not all of them in the beginning are going to like click a link in your bio and subscribe, right? You might actually have to send them an email and say, hey, you commented on my post and you said that you wanted the new music. If you give me your email, I'll make sure that you're the first to get the new music, So I like to do that early on because, if you have 20 people that give you $20, you just made a little bit of money to now invest back into yourself. And not saying that like, you just get everybody's emails because they're like dollar signs, right? Like you really truly want to build a relationship with them and build a community. But at the end of the day, you're turning this into a business. And all the artists that come to me and they want to work with me, that's their goal. They're like, hey, I want to quit my 9 to 5 and I want to make this a real thing. So you have to treat it that way, right? You have to give people a way to support you. That's not just, go book me for a show or something. Like that's why another thing that we've been doing is dropping releases on a platform called Even. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Even yet, but it allows fans to like buy your album before you put it on streaming. And it's like you have to train your audience to do that, right? It's like, hey, let me I want to support you, so I'm going to buy this directly from you. And then when it comes out, I'm still going to stream it, but I really wanted to support you because I love what you do. And, I have artists that are making a lot of money doing that. And so I just early on, I think it's really about casting that net, on social media, see how many people you can reach, but really pay attention to those core supporters, those people that are paying attention. I think a lot of artists, they focus on the growth so much, but you got to focus on the retention, because those people that are already there, you can't overlook them. They're there already. So you want to build that relationship and they'll go tell other people about you too,
100%.
Hope that answered your question.
It's fantastic. You're totally speaking my language. And you might not be aware of this because this is very new. It was just last week that we launched our software as a service, and it's called Street Team. And basically, we built it because of all the reasons that you're describing right now. Basically, it's
Okay.
like if Patreon and Discord and Facebook groups had a baby, but instead of
gotta check it out.
owning your audience, the artist owns the fan data, so they can send out emails, text messages, they can build funnels, advanced CRM software to basically connect with their fans and build a community. And it's a free to use platform. It's free to use with a 10% commission on revenue generated on the platform. So we'd love to connect with you more after the call, maybe share like a
definitely.
Or something. But
definitely,
it's 100% in alignment with everything you've been talking about the how important it is to actually own the audience, so that when it rains, you can capture the rain, but also So Mark Zuckerberg doesn't own the audience, or MySpace doesn't own the audience. And so, cool. Brianna, thank you for coming on the podcast and sharing some advice for artists, kind of help to recalibrate, because, like it is really important to eat the broccoli. For artists, if their goal is to make a full-time, business with their music, then they need to hear what you're sharing, and they need to realize that the end all be all isn't necessarily getting more followers on social media without having that real connection. So really appreciate you taking the time to hop on here. And for anyone who is interested in connecting more with you and diving deeper, what's the best place for them to go to connect?
Yeah. My company is called Taste Creators. Taste Creators, spelled exactly that. So tastecreators.com, Taste Creators on all platforms. Or if they just search for me, Brianna DeMayo on Instagram. I don't know if I should give my email, but I'm pretty easy to find.
Awesome. Well, like always, we'll put the links in the show notes for easy access. And Brianna, thank you again for hopping on the podcast today.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.